Mr. Speaker, and still I rise, a liberated Democrat, unbought, unbossed, unafraid, censured but not silenced. And I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to address the topic of racism infused in Texas politics. Racism infused into Texas politics. Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand a letter from the Justice Department. It is a letter that has as its reference unconstitutional race-based congressional districts, and then it cites the districts. Texas District 9, occupied by a person of color. Texas 18 was occupied by a person of color who is deceased, to be filled soon. 29 occupied by a person of color. 33 occupied by a person of color. Now this letter goes on to infuse race into the conversation. Read the last line, last sentence in the last paragraph. It reads, if the state of Texas fails to rectify the racial gerrymandering of Texas 9, Texas 18, Texas 29, and Texas 33, the Attorney General reserves the right to seek legal action against the state, including without limitation under the 14th Amendment. So race has been infused into this letter. It is sent to the Honorable Greg Abbott, that's the governor of the state of Texas, and the Honorable Ken Paxton. Dear friends, at the end of the day, if they can fulfill what they proclaim in this letter, there will be more white representation in Congress from Texas and less black and Latino representation. This is nothing more than an attempt to silence many of the voices that are emanating from communities of color in the state of Texas. It is racist. Now, there in this country seems to be a problem with people saying racist. It's okay to say anti-Semitism, but don't say racism. Racism has not received the same amount of acclaim when it comes to dealing with racist issues that anti-Semitism has received when it comes to dealing with things that are anti-Semitic. Well, I'm not afraid. I'm going to speak truth to power and about power. And here is the truth. Under this president, Republicanism is eroding and devolving into racism. Under this president, who has declined to allow persons from countries of color to come into the country when he has opened the door to Anglos from South Africa. This president has found a way to circumvent what would ordinarily be a society that appreciates and respects people of all colors, and he's turning society against people of color. This letter, if they succeed with this, will be the equivalent of having a mid-decade redistricting without the empirical evidence necessary to do it with a sense of justice. They will do this, and in so doing, it's comparable to having the halftime at a basketball game, and one team decides, because they have the power to do so, to remove 2 players from the other team and let that team proceed with 3 players, and they'll now proceed with 5. Oh no, wait, you have to have 10 players on the floor. So what they'll do is they'll just take those 2 players and they'll add them to their team. So they'll play with 7 and the other team will play with 3. They are diminishing the amount of representation that people of color will have in the state of Texas. Republicanism is being equated to racism too often in this country, and that is not the case. Republicanism has always been about conservative policies, but now they're about racist policy. This president is injecting racism into presidential policy. It is unconstitutional. I'm going to fight it, but more than that, I'm going to tell the truth about it. And if I happen to be one of those who is extricated, who is removed, evicted, if I happen to be one of those, I will be bloodied but not unbowed. Nobody is going to silence me. You can come after me, but you won't stop me, you won't silence me. I refuse to allow republicanism in the form of racism to dictate the policies in the state of Texas without my voice being heard. And finally, this. Friends, I have on my Texas tie. I'm proud to represent my state.
The gentleman's time's expired.
And I'm proud to say I stand
time's
against
expired.
republicanism as racism.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president.